right, guys, you're welcome to another episode of Impact Series. You know how we do it every time we're here. It's a platform where we get to invite people who are doing amazing things, people who are leading lives that can serve as inspiration to others, can serve as footsteps for others to also follow. People who are blazing the trail, we bring them here, give them opportunity to share what they have for all of us so that we can all learn from them. We can pick them as mentors or whatever we want to do, but at least we have somebody to look up to every time we are hit by life. Life will put you down at some point, and so when that happens, you need somebody to look up to. And this episode, we have an amazing gentleman joining us to share a little bit about life. You know what I'm saying? And this is a gentleman that I admire very much. I mean, I've engaged with him for quite a while. We ran a business together for a while, and every time I meet him, I mean, I dare say he's one of the most principled people I have come across. He's one of those guys who never say die. Things might be going terrible all around him, but he still stands tall and tries to find a way out of the situation, and that's what makes him a stand-up guy. And I'm happy to have him here today. His name is Java. Sir Java, we call him, and he's indeed an awesome guy. He's going to tell us a bit about himself. His story is also amazing, even though we're not going to focus a lot on the story, but I'm sure he'll share something brief about that with us. And so before we continue, let's just make sure he's here with us. So Java, can we hear you? Are you here?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Please. Am I positioned well as well?
Yes, we can see you. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
All right. So that's Java right there. We'll be hearing from him shortly. Now he's going to talk to us about starting from ground zero. And from the little I know about him, I'm sure he even started from a negative. But hey, he's here today. He's going to tell us how to start from ground zero. It's a session about life and money principles and motivation. You need all these things to make it in whatever capacity that you are in right now. And so spend the next 20-30 minutes hear from this amazing young guy, and let's see where we can take it from. So Java, you're welcome to the Impact Series. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kelvin, and I'm super excited to actually be on the Impact Series. It's a series I've been following for quite some time. I know we have amazing people that come here. So I mean, when I got the invite on my WhatsApp, I was like, oh, okay, a dream. So finally, I mean, I'm very, very proud and honored to grace this platform, and I'm super excited. I mean, I'm ready.
Awesome. Good to have you here. Well, you want to talk to us about starting from ground zero. So take us away. What makes you qualified to tell us about ground zero in the first place? What's your story?
Yes, I like the point. What makes me qualified to talk about starting from ground zero? Actually, I started from ground zero, honestly speaking. Like Dr. Kelvin rightly said, my name is Sir Java, and my life story is it's an interesting one. Didn't come from a very good home financially, but by the grace of God, we were able to survive. Finally got through school, met a few friends, got started the doing business. That was where I met Dr. Kelvin, honestly, and it has been great. From that time, learned so much, and apparently people got to know me as a Java. Throughout building business or being an entrepreneur in the business world, initially my perception about it was it was going to be a smooth ride, but starting, I realized that it's a kind of a bumpy road. There are ups and downs. There are things you have to learn if you want to survive in the industry. So by the grace of God, we're able to go through the process and still in the process and learning a great deal. And one thing I realized was that when I started doing business or getting myself involved in entrepreneurship, I got a different perception about life itself. And I realized that there's so many people like me that need some bit of a head start. By the grace of God, like I said, through the business, building a business, I've been able to acquire certain knowledge that I feel like sometimes, Dr. Kelvin, you look at people and then you see what people are doing, you realize that maybe if they had a little bit of tips, or if somebody could tell them something, or if they could just get a little bit of direction or story, they could be able to move from where they are to the next level. So ground zero, I came from ground zero. A lot of my brothers are still in ground zero. And I think that's the reason why we need to have this session today, so that at least somebody watching today can also learn a few things and add it to their lives. And then probably that might be the key that is missing. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation to be here to share with us some of these tips. I've also been following your TikTok and your YouTube as well, and you're doing amazing well. So I'm happy to have you here. So take it away, boss.
All right, thank you very much. Let's talk about life. Most of us come from a family. You might be fortunate to, have had your parents with you and all of that. Now, after your birth, you grow into a society. You are with people, and for the most part of our lives, it's surprising to say this, but most kids actually think of their parents to be very successful. Because our parents try to hide the reality from us, especially for the girl child. They try their best to provide. They will start to provide for us. So throughout, basic education or primary school, all the way to JHS, life seems a little bit cool because we are getting most of the things. We get food to eat, we get shelter and everything. But it all gets very, very funny at SS, especially for the guys. That is at high school when, after your first term, you realize that, okay, now second term, second year, you now begin to see the realities of life because you're not getting the attention anymore. For the ladies, after SHS into university, when you are now alone, you have to start, buying handouts, and then you realize that life is not that free. I remember there was a lady that spoke to me on one of my sessions, and then she was like, she actually got surprised that people actually pay rent. She didn't know that rent is something that you actually pay. In her mind, their houses, and when it's dark, people just go to some place to sleep. So when she realized that you have to pay rent, like you have to pay rent, you have to pay rent to sleep. You know, so that is how most of us actually get to meet the realities of life. And then after SHS, after tertiary, that is where the ball actually starts rolling. You have to start looking for jobs, and you have to start defining your path. Expectations begin to come, and then most of us begin to feel like, my goodness, where is the way? Right? And that's one aspect of it. There are also some people that are very fortunate. They come from good homes with businesses and investments and all of that thing that right after school, they just, join the family business line, or, they have something waiting for them. They go abroad. Those people too are also there. But I think today our focus is more on people that, are starting from ground zero, from a background where you have to virtually provide for yourself. And, you are more like a first generation millionaire. Starting from ground zero, the first generation, it begins with you. So once it begins with you, there are a few things you're supposed to understand. You're supposed to understand how life works. You're also supposed to understand the principle of money, and you're also supposed to understand what motivation is. Now, the reason why these three things are important, Dr. Kelvin, is that you see, life on itself or life on its own has many, many parts to it. It has ups and downs. So if you don't understand how life works, you would think that you are cruising and you think the cruise is going to be there forever. If you are down, you might think the down is also going to be there forever. You have to understand the cycles in life. You have to understand the principles that work. You have to understand, what makes people successful. You have to also define your own success. I'll break it down. You're also supposed to understand money, because, and I'll talk about that too. I don't want to jump them up, but you have to understand how money works, because whether you like it or not, money will pass through your hands. Sometimes people are like, I'm so broke, but sit down, look at all the money that's passed through your hand. Even you might be unemployed, but money will still pass through your hands. So how do you handle money? All of these things, right? You have to understand that. And then motivation. You need motivation because life is going to knock you down. You will fall down. It is going to get bloody. I mean, you are just coming away from a fall. You are currently in a fall, or you are walking into a fall. That is how life works. You are either coming out of a problem, you are currently in a problem, or you are on your way to meet a problem. So you need motivation. Nobody's going to motivate you. Nobody's coming to give you candies and cookies. And no. You're an adult. You need to put yourself together and you need to move. So these three things are very, very important. There are things you have to understand, things you are supposed to know. So I'll use myself as an example. So life, what are you supposed to understand about life? To break it down, because we have limited time, you have to understand that whether you believe in God or not, or the universe, whatever you believe in, opportunities will be coming your way. You need opportunities. So if you are taking note this down. You need opportunities. What is opportunity? There are ways to which you can, reach a destination. So opportunities will come your way. And if I use my life as an example, I had an opportunity. How did the opportunity come? Opportunities will come through network. Somebody asked me that, why do we even go to school? Why should we go to school? Why should we even go to school? In our world today where you can sit in your house and, go to school online. The reason why you had to go to school was because of the network, the people in there. Dr. Kelvin, the opportunity I had was given to me by a friend. A colleague I didn't know from anywhere, met him in school, we had great relationships, and a call came from him. I had a great opportunity. So If you are starting from ground zero, if you are coming from a place where you are not privileged, you are not left with any inheritance, all you have is your God and your will, understand that you cannot joke with network. You cannot joke with network. People that come your way, you cannot joke with network, because you see, if you pray to God and you ask God to bless you, manna is not going to come down from heaven. Manna is going to come through people that you meet. I know Dr. Kelvin because somebody introduced Dr. Kelvin to me. I met Dr. Kelvin and it was an opportunity to know him well, and I chose to maximize that opportunity, right? And he has been, I mean, we don't have time, but Dr. Kelvin is a very important part of my life, and he knows it because, I met him at a point in my life where I needed mentors, and I'll come to that, right? And he has been a very great mentor to me. So understand that if you don't have anything, you're starting from ground zero, you need network. So some of you, probably you are in a society, or you are in a church group, or you are your old, you are part of an old school, you have your old student classmates, and then you don't talk to anybody. Some of you have built this wall around you where you don't really communicate with people. Of course, we have good network and we have bad network, but why would you use a bad network? See people who are doing great. Don't see them as competition in your class. I mean, when I was in class, I was friends with the best students. Yes, the best guys, the guys getting the A's, the guys who are scoring. I cannot learn as much as they do, but I prefer to be closer to them, right? So when you are in an environment, look out for who is positive, look out for who is doing well, who is making the moves, and make sure that that person is your friend. And when I say friend, I don't mean be clingy and all that, but try to have their contact to be able to start conversations with them. If somebody is doing something that you want to know more about, ask them questions. That makes sense, because that is how God is going to bless you. You went to church 31st December, you pray to God. You went to the mosque on Friday, you pray to God. You ask that, I need some solution. Guess what? Allah is going to come to you through your friends, through your network, through people, right? So if you have a problem dealing with people, or you're not able to open up, you want to be careful. You want to look at that. Very key. So your network is very, 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 very important. Now, somebody asked me a question that, how do I start a business? The person asked me this question that, how do I start a business? I want to do business because I feel like from where I'm coming from, if I build a business, I can expand and I can do well. How do I become an entrepreneur? And the first thing I told the person was that he's supposed to get a job. You see, if you don't have anything, right, you actually have something which you don't know, which is time. If you don't have money, then you have time, right? Good. People who have time get money. So if you don't have anything, like on you ground zero, it means that you have a lot of time. What you need to do is that the first commodity you have is time. You need to sell that time for money. So you need to get a job. And people hate jobs. And I realize that people hate jobs not because of the whole job thing. People just don't want to work. And people's idea of building a business, or having something running for them, is to sit down and do nothing. Dr. Kelvin has been very busy today. We were supposed to have this session, but guess what? It has been up and down, tossing left, because he had to do some things, right? Exactly. So you cannot tell me that you don't have money and you don't have time to. I don't know how that works. You don't have money, you don't have time. Then we need to ask you questions. So what you do is that you sell that time you have for money by getting a job. Now, people hear about job and the first thing that comes into their mind is the wage. My goodness, and that is a wrong way to look at a job. The person offering you a job, whether it's an agency or a company or the government or an entrepreneur, whoever is offering you a job, it is an opportunity for you to, one, get paid, and to also learn the process. For example, if Legacy Foods, okay, which is owned by Dr. Kelvin, and if you're not tasted Legacy Food yet, I think you are late. I think you should, right? If Legacy Foods employs you and you're working for Legacy Food, right? Aside you getting paid, you are also being introduced and being exposed to, one, a network of people that work there. Point number two, their processes. How are they filing their taxes? How are they paying employees? How are they making income? How are they investing? All these are opportunities for you to learn. So now you learn the process by asking questions, because if you don't ask anything, nobody's going to teach you nothing. But you learn the process of how businesses are executed, or how things are being done. You learn the process, and that might be the genesis for you to start your own. Okay, so most of the time people see jobs as it's crazy. I don't like it. Also, of course, nobody likes to wake up at 8 o'clock and go to work and close back at 5. It's stressful, we know, but you need that process. We have a lot of young people now who are craving so much for the entrepreneurship stuff and have no job experience. They don't understand how the job a system work. But if you be a business person, you understand that you need to first, understand how the job market works, because at the beginning, and I may be wrong, Dr. Kelvin can come in here. I know that for most businesses, for the first few years, you have to run it like a job. You have to run it as like a job, and even more than a job. You have to wake up early in the morning and fix it. I don't know. Probably, maybe I'm getting it wrong. But you can come in here. But from what I've seen,
there's this meme that says that I started a business to get out of a job, and now I work longer than I was working when I was working. So you are absolutely right.
right? So I mean, so we have to understand this, and I see a lot of the young people are getting it. People that are trying to start from, they don't know, start a business. Even if you have a business, and you have a job, it's okay. Try and understand how the person that is doing well in their business, how has this organization existed for all of these years, right? How you guys doing it, right? In accounts, how do you guys file? How do you keep records? These are all things you're supposed to learn, right? So important, you have to learn. This is very, very crucial, and then you find a mentor. Having a mentor is very, very important. Now, when it comes to mentorship, there are two types. We have the virtual mentor and we have the physical mentor, or a mentor you can easily have an access to. For example, Dr. Kelvin, to me, is a physical mentor. I can just sit in a bus or catch a flight, go to Accra, meet up with him, and then we can get to talk. Now, those are people that you see physically and all, right? But there are people who we call virtual mentors. You need them, and that is where who you follow on social media becomes very important. So who do you follow? Right? What content do you see when you go on Instagram, when you go on TikTok, when you go on all of these social media platforms? Because this is where you meet them. On YouTube, whom I subscribe to, right? Jessica Owens, very amazing woman, right? Huge inspiration to all of us, right? She somebody like her can be a virtual mentor, meaning that she's somewhere you can't physically have an encounter with her, but you can consume the content that the person is giving. So if you decide, or if you know that you're starting from ground zero and your vision is to get to the top, either in your job or in business or whatever you are doing, you have to understand one key thing, that you need mentors. You need mentors who are in your field, and you need mentors who are also outside of your field. Very, very important. Every aspect of your life, you need somebody to guide you. Now, guess what? Somebody that has been my virtual mentor for a very long time has been Sarkodie. I'm the first in my family. I'm the firstborn, right? So I don't have a senior sister or a senior brother to listen to. When I said my business, right? Most of my business mentors that I admire physically were even far away. So although they were physical, they were virtual. And sometimes you are so down, you need to hear some things. You need to get people to inspire you and all of that. And guess who? Before I met all of these amazing motivational guys, it was Sarkodie. His music, the things he was saying, his music inspired me so much that it got me to move. Everybody needs a mentor, somebody that is doing well in what they are doing that you admire. The problem with mentorship is that there is no one mentor that is, that cuts across all departments. For example, and this is not to discredit pastors or people who are, spiritual people or spiritual leaders. I've seen that most times people who are spiritual leaders or people tend to be general mentors for every aspect of the life of the people that they lead, and I think that is bad. For example, I believe that your pastor is supposed to be your spiritual mentor, and it ends there, unless of course he's a business person to advise you in business. And by business, I mean a successful business person, right? So don't make the mistake of, they say we should find mentors. So you have one person that talks to you about almost everything, and then the person decides how you run your life in aspect that you might not even know whether they are professionals or not. So get professionals who are doing well, and then stick to them. Virtual mentors are very, very important, and I want to repeat that because they're also very powerful people. I recommend a few ones for you: Gary V, Eric Thomas, all these are Les Brown. These guys are very powerful people that their words will inspire you as you move from ground zero. You don't have anything, you need somebody to inspire you. Your parents don't even know anything about motivation. Your uncles don't know anything about motivation. Nobody knows nothing about motivation, but you still have to be motivated and still get going. So aside having a network, respecting your network, and trying to get a job to get you started and learning how the job system works and learning how businesses operate, the other thing is to decide to have a mentor. Then my last point on life itself is decide to be a professional. You see, I realize that everything, there are pros and there are quacks. Yeah. And the moment somebody decides to be a pro, things change. So who is a pro? A pro is a professional. Professionals that understand what it truly takes to get the job done. Quacks are, trying to get lucky. And I think Dr. Kelvin knows, the term quack doctors. So Dr. Kelvin, I don't know. Can you describe who a quack doctor is so that the audience can probably understand what I mean by that? Who is a quack doctor?
Anybody who doesn't have a license to practice medicine and is going around trying to do medicine is a quack. Even a medical doctor who has not renewed his license is considered a quack. So yeah, so you need to be licensed to
Exactly.
perform.
Good. So whatever you are doing, it's okay to for the start, try to find a way around things because probably you're not sure whether you should make the right investment and all of those things. So you're trying to get lucky, one way or the other. But luck, in the success equation is, let me say, less than 1%. You can get lucky, people get lucky, but you don't want to bet all your hopes on luck. Decide to be a professional. If you want to shoot videos, how do people shoot videos? If you want to, start agribusiness, how do they do it, right? And if you go deep down, you realize that people that are doing it, they are getting results. They have a professional way to everything that they do. How many people kick football? We have all kicked football before. All of us, we have kicked football before, whether male or female. You have kicked football before, but how many people get paid for kicking football? People are paid a lot of money for just kicking football. And guess what? These guys are called professionals. Professional footballers. It's their job. They understand how it's supposed to be done. They go to school. So understand that if you would do anything from ground zero and become successful, and the reason why it's important for people who are starting from ground zero is because, you see, those starting from ground one, ground two, ground three, ground four, people who are seed generation, great families and great businesses, you realize that there's already a professional culture created. So they to them, they might be acting normal, but every step they are making is geared towards amazing, beautiful professionalism because the path has been laid already. So whatever you decide to do, you have to decide to be a professional. And this is something you just cannot decide not to pay attention to. You must be a professional. So whatever job, if you want to rise to the top, maybe that is where you want to get to, no problem with that. If you want to get to the highest in your job, how do you get there? What professional courses must you take? What must you do? If you want to be a pro business person, you want to be successful in business, how do businesses operate? Right? So you want to take courses. And for the business that I've been doing with Dr. Kelvin, consistently, you realize that consistently, we are attending courses, we are trying to understand how things work, asking questions. That is what you must do in every industry you find yourself. So it's okay to be, to start and all of that. But if you decide that you want to get to the top in any industry you find yourself, you need to ask yourself, how do the professionals do it? And you realize that there are courses to take, there are schools to go, there are lessons to learn, and there are so many things you have to do to be able to get to the very, very top. And I've seen it personally in my life. So these are, the few things I'll share about life. Let me talk a little bit about money. Dr. Calvin, you see, the world we are living in is different. In the past, when I say in the past, people that were millionaires somewhere in the 20th century, you realize that people used to make money at the latter part of their life. So somebody will live life through, go to school, get a job, get a wife, have kids, all of that. And then you realize that when they're in their 40s, 50s, then they start, earning money. And then most millionaires, around 50 years and 60 years. Of course, the average age for being a millionaire is around 50 to 58 as at now. But you realize that in the world we find ourselves, people make money earlier. Like people make money at the earlier stages of their life than compared to in the past where people made money at their, at the latter part. Now, most people make money at the earlier part of their life. Now, guess what? Now, that's a huge advantage and also a huge disadvantage. What is that advantage in the first scenario? People in the 20th century that were making, great income at the latter part of, their life, by the time they start making the money, they have gone through all the lessons in life. Life has shown them pepper, has shown them sugar, has shown them milk, honey. They understand life. So when they get the money, they understand what it means to get money and what it means to lose money. Now we are in technological age. People are making money way, way quicker at the earlier stages of their life. 20 years, 30 years, people are making good money. through the internet now, content creators, cryptocurrency traders, forex traders, real estate people are getting money. But the trend has been that people that are making money at the earlier stages of their life tend to lose them before their 40s. A lot of people lose all these monies that they make. And it's all because, most people have not really gone through life to understand truly what life is. And, that will help you place value on wealth creation and money. Most people don't understand how money works. So if you decide to become, a superstar in your journey, you want to, build that legacy, start from zero, build a legacy for people to come and, continue, you cannot afford to play with money. Now, the painful part of money is that no matter how we tell you, the real understanding will come from personal experience. But of course, some people still do learn from experience. And one quote that Dr. Kelvin told me way back 2016, which I will never forget. He said something, and I'm quoting it today. He said that the experience is the best teacher. But Chairman, why should it be your experience? That is what he told me. Like, like Dr. Kelvin has been talking. He said, experience is the best teacher, but Chairman, why does it have to be your personal experience? So you have to understand how money works. If you don't, you will make a huge mistake. And the mistake is that you will lose money. You will lose money so much that now, after you've learned all the lessons, it now becomes a little bit harder for you to recreate that same money that you had and then you lost. So understand how money works. There are a few principles about money which I'll share. Very, very, very simple principle. I think I don't have time, so I just share three principles about money with you. The first one is that treat every opportunity as if it's the last opportunity. When people are making so much money or they're doing stuff and they're getting income, what comes into their mind is that, it's just the start of things. Things will get, I'll get more. So people will either do two things. They will either spend all of that money, or they will invest almost everything back into whatever they were doing. Now, these two things are all dangerous. If you spend all the money because you think new money will come, goodness me, when new money doesn't come, you are in big trouble. If you invest all the money to whatever you are doing, and whatever you are doing, because of the times we are in, things can go up, things can go down, you end up crashing yourself, then you are also in trouble because you've still lost money. So understand that every opportunity is the last opportunity. You always have to constantly be asking yourself that, if I lost what I have today, what do I have to fall on? Always ask yourself that question. And so that brings the concept of you learning how to save money, learning how to keep money, and learning how to grow money. Very important things you're supposed to understand, because if you don't get this concept right, trust me, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you are going to be in trouble, because at the end of the day, your mindset is going to be, money is going to come, I'm going to get more money, it's always going to be there, and then you're going to be huge trouble. Now, the other thing I'll talk about too is lifestyle and luxury. You see, most people admire when they say, I want to be, I'm starting from ground zero, right? They are working hard, and then they have, an expectation, how they want their life to be. They want their life to be, like the Despite and the Elon Musk and the Zuckerberg, the lifestyle part of it. Trust me, ground zero people don't really enjoy. Sometimes I see Dr. Kelvin, he's working so hard. He's a very hardworking man. And I'm like, I'm just imagining Dr. Kelvin at 60, probably I'll be at his birthday. And then, his amazing son, I love that guy so much, Kelvin Jr., now heading his businesses, and then he's running around, and, I'm like, you have no idea the stress that has gone to build this empire that you actually lead. You have no idea. You have no idea. Because Dr. Kelvin is putting in so much work to get a solid foundation for those after him. So yes, yeah, he can choose to liquidate all the businesses and then go into enjoyment mood and enjoy. But because he has legacy at the back of his mind, he is thinking of how to put resources together for the next generation. And so, yes, he's not enjoying the luxury that he actually deserves, because he can actually go out and then spread all over. You can even come and say, Java, you come for some $10,000, But of course, he is not doing all of that right now. He will do it later. But the focus now is to get the legacy right, get the foundation right. So if you are starting from ground zero, all of your focus is supposed to be on getting the foundation right. And what it means is that you have to deny yourself a lot of things. And that is where it gets difficult for most people. You see, the people that we admire in our societies who are high achievers, that we see them in luxury, all of those things, they don't enjoy luxury from hard income. Okay, hard income is money that you earn for putting in hard work. What they do is that they invest these hard monies that they get from hard work into portfolios, into assets, into businesses, and then later on, when it starts giving returns, they use the dividends on those returns or dividends on those investments and hard work to now spend on luxury. So if you're a young man starting life, or you are just starting, you are into business, and all that you are thinking about is, I want to, party. I want to, do all of these things. I want to have, 16 girlfriends like Kenya Japan, and have 4 wives and have 30 children. You might be mistaken, because at the end of the day, these honorable people, what they did was that they put so much effort into building the foundation, and now they are enjoying from the dividends of their investment. So understand how these principles work. If you don't take care, you have some 10,000 CDs in your account, some $5,000, some $20,000, and you think that, oh, the world is, this is the world, allow me to enjoy myself. And before you realize, now you are spending hard cash, there's no reinvestment, your portfolios are going down and your business is crashing, and then you're back to ground zero. So it's important you understand this. The last thing I'll talk about with money, and then I'll go to motivation, and maybe if Kelvin has some questions for me. The last now I'll talk about money is that there's something that is very common here in Africa. So proprietorship. People who just want to be the boss, the boss, and own 100% of their businesses. And I've realized that it doesn't work like that. And that is the reason why most companies and most businesses and most people remain small. There's so much power and strength in partnership. So whatever you are doing, I mean, if you have an opportunity to partner with somebody, please do. It's very important. The reason why most people don't partner with people in Africa is because they are scared. What if my partner becomes funny? And that is why it's business. So if you decide to do business, you have to understand that you have to respect law, and you have to get attorneys. Sometimes when you say law and lawyers, people will go like, hey, then it involves money. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Trust me. You talk to a lawyer and tell the person that you want to go into business with somebody, either the person is coming in with skills, or the person is coming in with money, whatever the person is coming in with resources to support. You want to have an agreement on shares in the company, 50%, 50%, 60%, 40%. It is going to help you. Our mindset is that we want to own 100% of everything. And because we want to own 100% of everything, it is all now tied to what we have, our resources, our mindset, and it becomes very, very, very tough for us. Tough for us. I would prefer, okay, to have 1%, okay, of $10 million, right, than to have 100% of $1,000 portfolio. It doesn't make any sense, right? So once we understand that there is strength in partnership, but once we want to partner with anybody, we have to make sure that the legalities are okay, the legal documents are all right, so that somebody doesn't come back and will become funny at the end of the day. It is going to help us so much. So even as you're starting from your job and you're working in your job, and you believe that one day you enter into business, or you're already in business, but you're starting on your own, you're looking for partners that one day you will spread your portfolios, and then you have people coming on board with money to support you. The idea, because how much it takes for you to become big, trust me, just you is not enough. Just you. I'm yet to see a sole proprietor billionaire. Almost everybody has partners. It's normally a cooperation with people inside, giving ideas and making things work. Legal documents available to back everything. It's important we understand these things, even as you're starting from ground zero, that you need partners to ensure that what you want to achieve in life becomes a reality. And then you need motivation. You need motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, the road to be, starting from ground zero is tough. I mean, it's tough. Dr. Kelvin comes here, he talks to us, he's always posting videos, and, it's inspiring all of us. I follow him on TikTok, amazing doctor. This doctor is always sharing content with us. It's always, but what we see is the final process. I'm telling you what goes on behind the scenes for some of these amazing people that we admire, what goes on before things are produced. If you are shown, you go like, goodness me, it's tough. And sometimes even the toughest of the tough, life will beat you to your knees and keep you down permanent if you allow it. So Life is going to come at you because once you decide to become extraordinary, hello, you're trying to challenge the status quo. So you will be challenged if you decide to get from having a bachelor's to do your master's. Is going to be tough. If you want to move from level 1 in your business to level 3, it's going to be tough. If you want to raise your income level from 10,000 Ghana cedis to 100,000 Ghana cedis a year, it's going to be tough. So that toughness can break you, and it doesn't mean you are weak. No, it is what it is. But we need to get the armor. We are not complaining about the toughness, but what we can do is that we can prepare ourselves to be able to face it well. And one thing I've seen that really, really works well is motivation. How sweet will it be that your wife, your husband will come and tap you and go like, honey, you are doing so well. I can see you are stressed, so keep it up. No, it's not going to happen because honey has her own problem. Honey has his own problem, right? That your boyfriend or girlfriend will come and go like, oh, you're doing well, keep it up. No. Motivation will not come when you need it. That is why you need to automate your motivation, right? There's something called automation, where you have playlists of motivational audios and videos that play consistently. You create a routine. Every single morning they play to inspire you, to get you to move. You need it. I'm telling you, you need it. I play my own every single day. You need it because life is going to get tough. There are days you feel like not doing nothing. There are days you feel like, why am I even doing all of these things? There are days you lose your motivation. Of course, you're building a legacy and all of this, but there are days that you feel like, goodness me, it's tiring. It's tiring. Right to move? Yes, you need to move, but you need another voice, second voice talking to you, and that voice will not come from your boyfriend, will not come from your girlfriend, will not come from your husband or your wife. Stop having so much expectations of them because they're going through their own problems. Everybody's going through their own problems. So automate your motivation. If you go on YouTube, we have Motivation Hub. Eric Thomas is there. Les Brown. Download these videos. Get their audios. Play them every single day. Play them. Get you to move. You want to be the MD of your company. Currently, maybe you're a supervisor. You want to work hard and get to that level. It's possible. You want to do your PhD. It's possible. You want to do your master's. It's possible. You want to increase your sales. It's possible. You want to create more videos. It's possible. Whatever you want to do is possible. What is left is that you have the motivation to move because it's not going to come from nobody. So automate it, get these audios, videos playing, and it's going to make you the hard person you're supposed to be to push through all of those, serious rocks. And once you come out, we welcome and say, congratulations, but only you know the hell you have to go through to be able to make it, a possibility. So ground zero, it's possible to move from ground zero all the way to the top, but trust me, the journey is going to require so much. And like Dr. Kelvin says, please join the book club. It's very powerful. You need it. You need to learn to be able to get to the top. So in summary, I'll say these are the things I'll talk about ground zero, unless Dr. Kelvin has questions for me, which I'll be glad to answer as well.
Well, thank you very much for sharing with us. Those are some deeply insightful points you've raised. I have made a lot of notes here on my part. Your network, trusting the process, mentorship, treat every opportunity like it's the last, partnerships, especially the partnerships. It's one of the reasons why African companies do not survive beyond the founder, because everything is built around that person. So when that person is no more, the company dies. It's a big lesson that we need to learn and improve on it to help us, build companies or build institutions that are going to transcend our life. It's brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing. And unfortunately, we don't have much time to ask and answer questions. We'll definitely have a second session with you, so please book your calendar. We'll call you in and we'll do that, and then we'll have time to address all the questions possible. But this has been deeply insightful. Now to those who may be joining us, if you have any questions, any feedback, I'm going to leave a link to Java's channel as well, so you can always connect with him, subscribe to his channel, subscribe to this channel as well, and then drop your questions in the comment section, your feedback, everything. Let's grow this community together. So Java, once again, thank you very much for taking up this invitation and sharing such insightful words with us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kelvin, for the opportunity too, because I know this platform is for honorable people. So when I had the invite, I'm like, okay, all right. I think I'm getting there. So thank you for the opportunity as well, and thank you for your to your audience. Thank you so much for following Dr. Kelvin. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, please, you're wasting time. Please do it right now and hit the notification bell as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Kelvin.
Awesome. Have a fabulous evening.